Cool. Well, thanks for updating the time. A little bit of a switch with daylight savings, but here we are. So why don't we go ahead and kick off? I can start with the smart contract stuff. V2 of the builder contract is still in audit, so it looks like the 15th will be the same monthly type manual distribution as last month. But got good feedback from the auditors, and credit to Chris and his work on that. But it looks like there's a couple of things they still need to tweak, so going back and forth on that. I expect to make the update after all of that's complete and tested. So anyway, that's the latest on builders. Working on the coding of the update to the V2 of the capital contract to add USDC, USDT, other assets on Aave. So we have some new yield options, which would be great, really expand the number of people that can contribute to Morpheus. After that, there are some written proposals for updating the compute contract that's still in the MRC process. It hasn't started coding yet. I want to sort of drill down on the modeling, but figure out how to do the bootstrapping. And so, been a topic of conversations at the last conferences, and now I think it's MRC 53 that goes through the detail on that. So if anybody wants to check that out, it's posted to the Discord forum. But yeah, other than that, held an event here in Austin the other day. Spoke about Morpheus to a bunch of agent builders. There's not only the decentralized AI space, but now there's a whole dedicated accelerator related to agent builders and AI developers in the same building here in Austin. So a great sort of network effect is building. So anyway, that's the quick updates for me. Ryan, did you want to jump in on the compute side?
Yeah. Yeah. Basic updates on compute. Today is the last day of testing for the IPFS and internal node for the Morpheus build. Everything is looking good. So now providers can basically use Morpheus's own baked-in model repository. So when a provider imports a model into the node, Decentralized repo, and any other provider that wants to host that model then can download it from the IPFS repo already on top of Morpheus. So there's no reliance on any other systems or coins or anything like that. So we're really excited about that. The next steps that we're looking into are decentralized context storage. So if you have a chat on one device, you can pick up the same chat on another device using the same wallet. This would be really, really awesome. You're not having to use a centralized service for context storage anymore. There are some hurdles with that one, especially when you start getting into video generation, audio generation, image generation, because that storage can add up very, very quickly. With text context, it's fairly lightweight and simple, so we can just shard that across providers fairly easily. But we're talking about what's the incentive mechanism going to look like for offering storage in IPFS for media content. Outside of that, we are working on a redesign of the core application. Right now, the Electron app is it's kind of a sample of what you can do with the Morpheus contract. So you can open a session, you can close a session, you can view models. It's very much like Venice or very much like ChatGPT, where you can just open up a chat and start sending prompts. We realize that that's not really what this node application needs. It doesn't really need a sample chat system. It really needs more of a command and control type system where you can view running processes, you can view API and agent statuses, you can do access control. So it's really more of like a system commands dashboard. So that's actually what we're going to be pivoting the Morpheus GUI into, is a more system command where you can see running processes. You can shut down or relaunch the router. You can shut down and relaunch the API. You can handle all the different API keys and inbound requests or outbound requests from the different agents. So it's going to be a little more robust of a control dashboard, and that's kind of where we want to see it go towards. And then the final push for the team is a simplified API endpoint. So right now we just have the standard API on the router. We've heard and gotten feedback that it's a little too complicated for some developers. They understanding how to manage the wallet, how to manage opening and closing sessions with different providers. So we're just going to add a simple branch onto the API where it's simply you feed it the model that you want and the prompt that you want, and everything else just happens for you. So the session, the provider will be selected, the session will be opened, the prompt will be submitted, the inference will come back, and all you had to do is just select the model and enter the prompt. So we think that type of API endpoint will be way easier for developers to onboard with. And then in talks with a few people in the Morpheus community on setting up a API as a service. And this is something I'd really love to see on more.org, is a API as a service where Morpheus is running a core node and offering compute API. So anyone doesn't, if people want to try it out, they don't have to download the node, install it, and get everything set up. They could just go to Morpheus, get an API key, and do some tests run.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I think all that front end stuff will make the user experience for developers a lot easier. Awesome. Thanks for the big update, Ryan. That sounds really exciting, especially the IPFS and everything else. Kyle, did you want to jump in next, or Chris? Go ahead, Chris.
Quick question. Ryan, what were the timelines on those that you were anticipating?
That's a good question. IPFS testing is being done today.
Here's the look, Ryan.
Wait, you want actual dates for deliverables? What?
No, I just said here.
We're just gonna do like some arbitrary point in the future. So some of these are easier to pinpoint than others. So the IPFS stuff is obviously getting finished up today. So we'll probably be pushing that out Monday into the main repo. The decentralized context stuff, that's still in research because we don't have a good grasp on how to compensate storage providers for media storage. So until we have a good model forward for that, we're still kind of in a holding pattern and figuring that out. So it could definitely use help from the community if someone has a mind for that type of thing.
Ryan.
Yep.
So theoretically, I understand why you'd be wanting to build decentralized context storage. Are you getting actual user demand for that? Because I'd like to tell you how we're doing that right now.
I mean, we don't really have much user demand at all at this point.
I meant, like, did you do any market studies on that? Because what we're doing in my super agent is we're going to build out user context as part of the user database in the service, and then we're going to selectively share context to the task agents at the point of runtime, so the agents can still be invoked in a stateless matter. I was just curious
that's exactly what, I mean, from the sounds of what you're saying, it sounds exactly like what Venice and other centralized services do.
Yeah, I was just wondering if it being on the roadmap right now was meaningful versus something else that could be prioritized. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah. The point of using the IPFS node for context storage is it's fully decentralized. It's fully anonymous. It rides on your same wallet key that you would have your Morpheus node on. So you could pull up a Morpheus app on your phone. You could have it on a bunch of different computers. So
And
it's
we're doing
it's
that in
more
my
seamless.
in my super agent, we're doing that.
IPFS would be key.
Okay, so in my super agent, we're doing that already through Lit and Iris. So Iris is a storage layer, and we're just storing the user secrets, like API keys, that way, and only they can encrypt and decrypt it with their wallet. But in terms of like larger pieces of context that where you build up a persona of the user, we're doing it more in the way I described earlier.
Yeah, no, I'm
just telling you,
so-
like, as someone who's building on top of what you're building, that's how I'm approaching it right now, and I don't feel like there's a huge need on my side to have decentralized context storage right now. So I think what
I can think of other places to use it.
is to have API, just have a really stable API and to put resources into that, because we like to switch over to Morpheus inference as soon as possible. I think that's more critical than solving decentralized storage. I don't think there's a clear pattern there right now. Just my thoughts.
No, that's exactly what I said. Is we're still. Oh, there's a clear pattern for usage. For example, Lit is a federated network of signers that store everyone's private key. So when that gets cracked, then everyone's kind of screwed. So I don't put a lot of leverage in Lits, especially when it comes to sensitive data. So Lit is great for a short-term solution if you want a federated network to store your private keys. Outside of that, we still need to do research and development for proper decentralized context storage. And that's what the team's doing. I don't have a timeline on that, and it's not highest priority. So my super agent having your context storage the way you do is awesome, because we definitely need that. Eventually, as Morpheus picks up steam, we have millions of users that have more sensitive data. We're going to want to find a way to shard that data in an encrypted way without relying on third-party networks.
Agreed.
Couldn't agree more.
But I don't want to undermine anything that my super agent's doing, by the way. You guys are doing it the right way for the tools that we have right now, and it's like desperately needed. So don't think I'm trying to undermine that or replace that.
That's not the point. I just want to make sure we're like hyper focused on delivering on agents and model inference. There's a really clear need in the market right now for that. And I'm not
the
storage is important.
Research and development is what I'm saying for that. Back to Chris's original question for the dashboard and rewrite of the UI. That's just now kicking off, so I'm going to probably put that at about 6 weeks out, because it's going to be a pretty massive overhaul, and we're getting rid of the entire launcher system. That's all going to run through kind of this dashboard. So it's a pretty major rewrite of the Electron application. The simple AI endpoints or API endpoints, I'd imagine would be about 2 weeks out. So 1 week for development, 1 week for testing. So yeah, if I were to just put rough dates and timelines on things, that's what I do.
Yeah, no worries. Just appreciate being able to get a sense of the lay of the land and how things are evolving. So I know you've been working hard to bridge some of the challenges on the UI side for users. I think we've got some key people that are helping with that.
100%. Yep, glad to pull out the dates and figure out where these places connect. Kyle, did you want to jump in next?
Yeah, I actually didn't really have anything additional there. I think both Ryan and Rakshak covered the needs from my perspective, and Ryan gave a good update on what's coming forward.
Cool. Well, then just to kind of finish out the compute-related stuff, Bo sent me an update via text because he wasn't able to join directly today. Basically said that Brainpower is covering more of the more tokenomics in their episode this week. Week in Morpheus will officially begin highlighting builder subnets this week as well. And he's been lining up conversations on the podcast with multiple builders. And those are highlighting sort of projects and people that are launching subnets, and just requests again that anybody building a subnet to reach out to him directly. And then finally, that he's nearing successful pairings of compute providers to builders, and more to come on that end. That's the quick update from Bo. Kevin, did you want to jump in next?
Sure. Hey, everybody. I am in San Francisco for my last day today, and I've been out here for Ethereum SF, and it's been a really good event. Everybody, as with like kind of the entire year, is talking about agents and the multi-agent future. Vitalik made some appearances, which was really interesting. I think it's all recorded if anyone wants to go back and watch that. And had a lot of great discussions about Morpheus, other projects focusing on building out decentralized AI. Had a few sit downs with the Eigenlayer, Near AI, Sentient, Kite AI, which is a layer 1 blockchain I just learned about this week. Another mind network. So just a lot of good connections for Morpheus. And yeah, it's been buzzing. I went to the AI summit at Stanford campus, and there was a really good group of AI blockchain kind of developers, trying to learn and figure out wording. So I had a lot of great conversations there, and yeah, so flying back to home, and looking forward to kind of really focusing on our upcoming Morpheus event in Austin. And so I'll be kind of helping work on the final details there. I've been helping additional builds get online. So there are a few more in the whitelist queue, and more coming. I got to sit down with some builders this week and kind of help them go through the docs and get the builder subnets registered. And then all of these builder subnets are going to have an opportunity to get a 30-minute speaking slot with capital providers and demo their products, and work towards getting additional stake to their builder subnets at the event for builders in Austin, which is starting April 22nd. So looking forward to circulating the invite to that, and sharing that with all these builders out there who want an opportunity to share what they're working on.
Awesome. Do you need anything from any of the other maintainers, Kevin?
I like what I'm hearing in terms of all of the tooling coming together. I think just helping to kind of amplify, and we should all be focusing on helping everyone understand the builder subnet, how it works, and feel free to just find those folks who are building awesome products and send them my way. I think the entire community can kind of help bring new builders into Morpheus. So that's always my ask every week. And I'll keep asking. Sweet.
Sounds good. Scott, you want to jump in? Tell us about the latest with more agents. Really excited to see the Decentralized AI Forge coming together.
Yeah, it has been a lot of fun bringing that together. The ability exists now for any project out there to create a node, and that is a name mismatch between Node.js and Node Decentralized, but the nodes within the Forge can be built by anybody, and they can be submitted to the GitHub, and we can start incorporating everybody. And that will allow anybody out there to build an agent with no code whatsoever. It'll be fun.
And this is a fork of the open source Flowise interface.
Yes.
Right? And you basically worked with the team to basically create something that was purely open source.
Yes. The team at Shiza has been incredible. They had done a version of Flowise called the Shiza Builder. And what we did is we said, okay, let's take a version of this thing and strip out anything centralized, so that someone wishing to learn how to build an agent from open source to centralized projects can sit down, do it with this, and then learn exactly why each step does what it does. It's a phenomenal way to learn agents.
Cool. And just give people a context if they haven't been there already. This is hosted on moreagents.org. And I believe there's been updated so you can actually create an account as opposed to apply for a whitelist. So people should be able to log on there now and get pretty quick access to try it out. And it's important to note it's a no-code tool. So you just drag and drop the components that you want, and you can export the agents at the end of the process. So Scott, what do you need from others? Sent over that request from some people in the community that want to pilot this with the press release. That's cool. Anything else you need to get the word out?
Oh man, we are going to start doing videos as much as possible. There is a good number of them to copy, but if anybody wants to do a video of themselves creating an agent and just showing how easy it is, because it is pretty easy, you can build an agent in 15 minutes. I think once people get over that initial, how do I use this thing? They will get creative in all sorts of ways we haven't imagined. So base agent videos, I think, would be great.
Awesome. Yeah, I know.
Did you say that you had-
I'm sorry?
Go ahead. I was just saying, Scott, did you say that you had a couple of kids out of that were working on this? Some college students that had been building, that were able to install the node, use the agent kit, and we're going to be putting together a video or two.
Yes, they're absolutely doing that now. It has been fun to watch them learn this. This is not what they do. They aren't professional developers, and they were able to pretty much grok the whole thing from the builder kit README and go from soup to nuts, employing the full tech stack of Morpheus. And I was doing the happy dance when that happened. Not gonna lie, it's a good time.
That's great, thanks. The other thing too, I think you hadn't mentioned, but so on the API, did you want to share? I know you were working on with that, and you're the first one to get that out the door. So you want to talk about that a little bit?
100%. The what's going in for testing today is the front end. We have a rate limited API that people can just drag and drop in the same place they would their OpenAI API. It follows the same structure, and it is probably the easiest thing to do to start using Morpheus inference. We'll have that live today. It will live at more.org. It will live at more.rest. We will put the documents at more.rest. But I think anybody who wants to spread this far and wide, I am going to try and subsidize the beginning of the inference cost. But this is going to be a way, I think, for people to really kick the tires.
Yeah, that's great.
And back into the node.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rakshak was saying congratulations. That's great. Good to use the OpenAI.
Thank you.
It's definitely the best standard.
Yep.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. So that Tales and Conquest has been running on Twitter now regularly, and it has produced a ton of content. People have used it. I haven't followed all of them because it's, like I said, it's a lot. But that is really starting to gain some momentum. Anybody who wants to jump in there and play a game, I suggest they do so. It's a lot of fun. Let's see. There is going to be a local build of the node for developers in Docker format so that they don't have to deploy a node someplace. That's going to be part of the builder's kit. And tonight is the first LA meetup. So I'm heading over there to check it out. I'm going to bring some t-shirts.
Nice. Love to see the local meetups kicking off. Very
100%. Cool. Next one's Vegas with the Brian Bogery of Las Vegas. So
there you go. Good times. All right. Rakshak, you want to bring us home?
Absolutely.
Give us a quick update.
Hey, everyone. Rakshak here with David. Yeah, so we're really excited. There's a lot I could cover. I have 4 minutes. I'm going to focus on some key deliverables. My supervision's been live for a couple of weeks, and there's been a big update that's coming out today to help improve stability of it. Next month, by April 14th, the goal is to have 2 things out. One is easy ability to add MCP servers. So any developer who wants to play around with MCP servers can use my super agent initially as a bit of a developer tool. They can plug them in. And the second feature is going to be multi-agent framework. So we're going to adopt either Crew AI or AutoGen or something similar. And after they add their MCP servers, all the pre-built dozen agents plus however many agents and tools they want to add can cohesively work together in coordination. So larger tasks can be broken down by the smaller agents and coordinated by the super agent. So that's the big push, to just make it easy for other people to plug in their stuff and for those things to do more interesting things. The goal after April and going into May is going to be letting these developers then go ahead and publish the agent that they built onto the Morpheus registry. And then in the future, when users need an agent of that capability, it automatically gets invoked based on intent, based on how appropriate it is for that intent. There's some core premises here. One, I believe that users will not know which of the many thousands of agents to pick from, and so they will be automatically coordinated on their behalf. And two, users will not subscribe to 1,000 different services. Instead, we're going to manage a simple budget through my super agent where they stake more, they get a daily allowance, they can consume as much of that as they want. If they want more allowance, they can stake more. So they're only having to manage one budget, not 1,000, right? So that's where all this is headed.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to see those updates next month. So you said April 14th is your target?
April 14th is, third-party MCP server integrations and multi-agent framework for more interesting outputs.
Awesome. Sounds good. All right. I don't see Luke on today. Go ahead, Chris.
Oh, there's a couple other things that Anton's mic is not working on his side, so asked to just had some suggestions on the Venice update on the Pro version. Do you mind running through that? When can people use Morpheus to stake and get Venice Pro?
So my understanding is they've put it live. So if you stake 50 more, you have access to a Venice Pro account. I tested it the other day and it worked for me. So I would definitely go ahead and test it out. If people want to deposit, if you go into the builders, you'll see a couple of Venice accounts. Go to the one called Venice, and you can stake there. There's also one called Venice Pro. Probably sort of tweak and organize the Venice subnets after the V2 version of builders gets shipped. But consider it live and in testing right now. Probably makes sense to do a broader announcement and really highlighted it to the community and all the socials and stuff after the V2 version and after it's had a little bit of testing. But really excited to see that Eric and Tina, Jesse, and the team have added in again the ability for people to stake more and get access to Venice. So I did it yesterday and it worked extremely smoothly. It just takes a couple of minutes for the API to pick up the staking. So it's not instant, but make a deposit or stake some more to the subnet. And I think it was with under 10 minutes, it picked it up, and the account that I had connected to that wallet address all of a sudden became Pro. So yeah, really excited for that. And big credit to the Venice team and what they're doing as the first really killer app. Amazing thing that come out of the Morpheus community. So thank you, Venice. Yep.
That's great. And then the last one, which maybe we might have started with, I know you did it earlier this week, David, is any message you have around the price tanking in Morpheus and just the support and the process and having been there before. Do you want to speak on that at all?
Sure. Having been into Bitcoin in 2012, I remember people sort of being very down in 2011 and 2012 because the price went from $30 to $2 a Bitcoin. And so what you saw is that people that succeeded over time were the people that kept committed and continued building, right? And then something very similar happened in 2013, right? The price went from $10 to 150, corrected all the way down to 50, and then went all the way to $1,000 before you had the collapse of Mt. Gox, right? And that was very discouraging, right? When Mt. Gox collapsed, the price of Bitcoin went way down. I think all the way to $250 from its peak of 1,000. But what it did is create an opportunity, and Coinbase and others, stood up and kept building the infrastructure, right? Because they saw the real value. And that's sort of the core concept to take away is nothing's changed from, a couple weeks ago to today about the core value of Morpheus, right? If you believe people are going to use smart agents, if you think decentralized AI and intelligence owned by the individual is important, it's just important now as it was before, right? So I try to avoid, sort of worrying about price and focus a lot more on value, right? Are people using smart agents? Are they getting value out of all the projects building on top of Morpheus? Are more builders discovering Morpheus? Are we bootstrapping the inference? Those are the things I focus on day to day. And so, yeah, I mean, it always sucks when the price goes down. But, having been in crypto for a long time, you sort of build a tolerance to the volatility. And sort of that's the benefit that you get as an early adopter, right? Is if you believe in the asset, then it's at a better price to buy today than it was, a few weeks ago. So yeah, that's sort of what I would say is, you look at the community and people are locking up their rewards for a long time because they want to ride out this type of volatility and continue building the real value.
I think the other part too that you've said a few times is that this is a little bit different is in that as part of the community, each person can step up and build what they think needs to be built, right? So you get to participate in the process when you're early on. You get to participate in the process of what is going to be the end product. So.
Yep.
And then the last point to that Anton had a question around is like, I know you've been doing a little bit of work on this, is work around market making and expanding capital markets there. What work's being done there?
Sure, happy to speak to that. So yeah, definitely growing the liquidity I think is really important, and because Morpheus doesn't have a foundation or a centralized treasury, it's really up to the community. And so a number of subnets have been spun up where people are raising their hand and saying, hey, I want to go after the listings. I want to go and, increase the liquidity and the market making. And I think that subnet builder structure is the perfect structure to do that with, right? And so people that want to support that can stake towards those subnets that those emissions can then be used to support market making and listings and other work, right? And so I think that approach is the right way to go about it. And so, yeah, I think we'll see more developments on that this month as the first payments get made out to those builders that sort of have that objective. And others are stepping up to say, oh, I want to do marketing. I want to expand Morpheus into Asia. I want to build additional user interfaces. So, I love that in Morpheus, builders isn't constrained to just one type of builder, but anybody that wants to build value on Morpheus. But really great question. Yeah, I think building the liquidity is really important.
Cool. Thank you. Appreciate you running through that.
Yeah, definitely.
Pick up on the last part there. There is real freedom building on Morpheus. It feels fantastic.
Yep. Well, and we've got all the pieces coming together, right? So, I mean, I'm already playing around with the DAI Forge, and I want to pop out an agent, and I want to register it on the decentralized registry, and then I want to connect it to my super agent, and then I want to publish that for everybody to use, right? That's the flywheel. Is I can instantly create each of these pieces, right? Release an agent, get paid for it, monetize it, roll out a subnet. We were meeting these developers here in Austin yesterday, and by the end of the afternoon, they had already rolled out a subnet, and we're in contact about using the compute and wanting to understand how all the different pieces work. So people are now able to go from they hear about Morpheus, they go to the website, they get it set up, and they're building something same day, right? Which is what we want to see. Cool. All right, guys. Well, great update. Thanks for everybody jumping on. Big crew showed up today. And yeah, I love these recordings and getting them out to the community.
something to pin, David. We might consider doing one of these on X for the updates. So
Yeah, I was going to say, there's a broad
that he suggested that.
Yeah. I had mentioned that before because I think there's a broader audience there, and it's one thing to sort of keep the inner community on Discord updated. It's another to sort of show off to the masses that we're constantly building and shipping. So yeah, I think that would that'd be great.
Try one.
Yep, 100%. And minimum that I was talking to Taco because I know he's got a setup where you can stream it across multiple platforms. He does it across like 10 different platforms. We don't necessarily have to go to that length, but at least add access somewhere this streams. Cool.
Thanks.
All right, guys. Well, we'll call it there, and I will see you all soon. Thanks, guys.
All right,
Appreciate it.
Yeah.